Chaos doesn't kill you. It tricks you into killing yourself first. In Havoc, the city turns predator, blood in the alleys, betrayal in every handshake. Walker doesn't run. He doesn't scream. He doesn't beg for a fair fight. He moves like a man who has already buried every illusion and only carries what no one can steal, himself. You don't survive chaos by winning. You survive it by refusing to be changed by it. You endure not because the world softens, but because you harden the right things inside. Because you know, the only true defeat is becoming what you hate. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius. If you've carried the weight without applause, if you've stood where others fell, leave a like. You know what it costs. If your silence ever spoke louder than their chaos, share your reflection below. And if you're building your own unbreakable core, subscribe, stay sharp, stay sovereign. 1. The collapse. There's a moment when everything you know fractures. Walker steps into that moment. A simple job spirals, one wrong move, one desperate call. And suddenly, the city reveals what it truly is. Chaos, wearing a thin mask. Of order, no speeches, no warnings, just violence. A deal that should have been controlled turns into a bloodbath. Dead bodies on concrete, betrayal spilling from every side. The facade of control burns down in seconds. Walker's character in Havoc shows a stoic lesson in pure form. You can lose everything external in an instant. But your internal status, that's yours if you choose to keep it. He does not scream. He does not beg. He moves. The world crashes around him, but he does not collapse with it. He stands. Most people flinch when life folds. They curse, they cling, they freeze. But the Stoic mind accepts collapse not as an end, but as the real beginning. There's no such thing as solid ground outside yourself. The only thing that can stand when the external world disintegrates is your own reasoned choice. Walker moves through falling structures, corruption erupting in all directions, not because he is stronger than physics, but because he has detached from needing stability outside. Himself, he adapts, he navigates. The environment, betrayal, blood, chaos, is noise. The signal is internal. In Havoc, the city is a map of failure. The institutions rot from within. The law bends, the gangsters rule with terror. Every handshake is a loaded gun. This is life, stripped of illusions. When collapse comes, the unprepared cry for fairness. The prepared move without demanding that life be fair. Walker embodies a simple, brutal Stoic principle. You are not owed clarity. You are not owed clean ground to stand on. You are not owed justice from others. You owe yourself stability of the mind. The fall of everything external is not the enemy. It is the reminder. You never owned it to begin with. There is a shot early in Havoc, Walker stepping over a body, blood still warm. As sirens scream in the distance, he does not stop to mourn the illusion of safety. He keeps moving, not because he doesn't care, because caring about what is already lost serves no purpose now. Collapse forces one choice: drown clinging to what was, or breathe moving into what is. You were never promised a world that holds, only a mind that can. In the philosophy of Stoicism, collapse is neither good nor bad. It is simply part of the flux. You lose a position, you lose a friend, you lose a body, eventually. None of these losses mean you have lost yourself unless you decide so. The true collapse is not when the building falls, It's when your mind falls with it. Walker shows through action a stoic truth. Survival is not about overpowering the storm. It's about becoming the eye of it. A city crumbles. A detective loses his badge, his support, his protection. What remains? Movement, choice, internal stability. When all external anchors rot, the world demands you scream when it burns. It demands you rage, despair, blame. Walker walks forward. The ground is ash. The sky bleeds. The system is rigged. Still, he moves, not because he trusts the world, but because he trusts his ability to act rightly within it. Stoicism does not promise you will rebuild the city. It promises you will not be broken when it burns. The collapse strips Walker of every advantage, rank, badge, backup, and leaves him facing reality naked, and he does not flinch. He does not retreat into fantasy. He does not invent enemies where there is only circumstance. He acts. That is all. To the Stoic mind, what matters is never, did you win? It is only, did you stand true? The first collapse you survive is outside. The second collapse you survive is inside. The first is luck. The second is choice. Walker's character shows that collapse is not a curse. It is the test that reveals if you ever stood at all. And most never did. They borrowed strength from illusions, titles, jobs, power, connections. When the fire comes, they vaporize. The ones who survive, the ones who endure collapse not with fists first, but with minds anchored. Walker does not conquer the collapse. He survives it by refusing to let it dictate who he is. The building falls. He does not. The badge burns. He does not. The world turns against him. He does not turn against himself in the end. Collapse is not destruction, it is purification. What you built on sand burns away. What you built on discipline remains. No badge, no safety, no allies, no lies, only choice, only action, only the self, forged clean by fire. That is the real beginning. Not when things go right, when everything goes wrong, and you remain standing. The obstacle is not the enemy. Panic is. 2. The grit. Collapse is loud. Grit is silent. Walker moves through wreckage, but the true debris isn't broken glass or bullet holes. It's betrayal. The city is not a battleground of ideals. It's a network of self-interest, rotting, scheming, devouring itself in the dark. Police sell out, gangsters forge alliances with those sworn to uphold the law. Truth dies quietly, long before the sirens wail. Tom Hardy's character in Havoc embodies the Stoic lesson of enduring moral collapse without surrendering personal discipline. Walker doesn't rant against the corruption. He doesn't demand fairness from a world that never promised it. He moves, one foot after another, one breath after another. The man who expects purity from the world falls apart when he meets its filth. The man who accepts impurity walks through it without being stained. In one brutal sequence, Walker fights through crumbling tenements and labyrinthine alleyways, not just against fists and knives, against exhaustion, against despair, against the whisper that says, "Give up. It's pointless." He answers not with words, with motion. Each step forward is an act of rebellion. Each breath drawn in violence is a refusal to yield to it. Stoicism does not promise a clean fight, it prepares you for a dirty one. Walker's journey through the city isn't a chase, it's an act of grit, staying in motion when nothing around him justifies hope. The philosopher Epictetus warned, "The world will not adjust itself to your expectations. You must adjust your mind to the world." Walker shows this adjustment, not in grand speeches but in bruises, in bloodied knuckles, in broken ribs and torn muscles, and still motion. At no point is he assured victory. At no point is he safe. At no point is he even certain whether the people he fights for deserve saving. Still grit. The external map is wreckage, the internal compass holds. Without grit, collapse eats you. Without grit, pain persuades you to quit. Without grit, the mind invents reasons to lie down and call it fate. Walker's survival is not a triumph of violence, it's a triumph of will. The world is unfair. Move anyway. The people are corrupt. Move anyway. The odds are impossible. Move anyway. This is not stubbornness. It's discipline. Stubbornness screams against reality. Discipline accepts reality and acts within it. A Stoic knows you don't control the war, you only control the fight within yourself. Walker's existence inside Havoc reflects this unspoken code. He does not expect allies. He does not expect gratitude. He expects only that he must act according to what is right, regardless of whether it is rewarded or recognized. The external world dangles temptations, shortcut deals, betrayals masked as opportunities. Walker's way is harder, straight through the rubble. There's a moment when Walker could have saved himself by compromising, by selling someone else out. He doesn't. He carries the weight instead. Grit isn't romantic, it's ugly, it's painful, it's slow. But it is the only bridge from collapse to redemption. Every blow Walker absorbs, every betrayal he endures, every step he forces himself to take deeper into the underworld, all of it refines his center. It's easy to stand tall when the ground is firm. It's another thing to walk when the earth shatters. Under your feet with every step, grit is the refusal to stop just because stopping feels justified. In the philosophy of Stoicism, suffering itself is not the enemy. The interpretation of suffering is, the weak mind says, "I suffer, therefore I'm wronged." The strong mind says, "I suffer and yet I endure." Walker shows this in the way he accepts pain without letting it dictate his next move. Bruised, bloodied, exhausted beyond limit, he never begs life to be easier. He becomes harder. This is the core of grit, not a loud defiance, a quiet persistence. The city burns, the streets betray, the body fails, the mission twists. Still, the next step. Still, the next breath. Still, forward. Walker's movement through the corrupted city shows a stoic reality few admit. You will be betrayed. You will be wounded. You will be exhausted. None of it absolves you from your duty to persist. There is a scene where Walker, cornered and outnumbered, chooses not to fight recklessly. He measures, he endures hits he could have avoided, conserving energy, calculating risks. He chooses survival over pride. Grit is not bravado. It's strategic suffering. The Stoic mind sees no glory in easy victories, only in necessary endurance. You do not survive because you are faster, or stronger, or smarter. You survive because you refuse to abandon the fight inside yourself. Walker moves through betrayal, not because he's certain of a happy ending, but because he knows quitting rots the soul faster than any external loss. The broken city is a mirror. It shows you what collapses easily. It shows you what is counterfeit strength. Grit reveals what is real. No crowd cheers for it. No songs are sung for it. Grit exists only between you and yourself. You know if you quit. You know if you compromise. You know if you gave up before you fell. Walker's bruises speak more clearly than any anthem. Pain is not permission to stop. In the philosophy of Stoicism, a man is judged not by how much he suffers, but by how well he endures. The world you face tomorrow may be corrupted. Your body may betray you. Your allies may vanish. Your goals may seem foolish. Still the next step. Still the next breath. Still forward. Progress is not always forward. Sometimes it's through. 3. The stillness. In Havoc, the city roars like a wounded animal. Gunfire splits the air. Sirens wail against broken skies. People move like predators and prey, never pausing long enough to breathe. The chaos demands one thing from everyone. Inside it, react. Walker refuses. Inside a nightclub, violence erupts without warning. A swarm of bodies, a hive of rage. The walls pulse with screams and blood. Most would match chaos with chaos, lash out wildly, let fear or anger hijack their hands. Walker doesn't. Tom Hardy's character in Havoc embodies the Stoic principle of keeping composure while the world drowns in frenzy. Stillness is his rebellion. He moves with calculation, not frenzy. Each action measured, not panicked. Each breath taken, not stolen. In a world that believes faster equals safer, stillness becomes the highest risk and the highest strength. The Stoics taught that you cannot control the wave. You can only control the ship. Walker becomes that ship in a storm of fists and knives and betrayal. While others swing wildly, he chooses his moments. He sees openings. Others are too blind with rage to notice. He survives, not by overpowering chaos, but by refusing to drown in it. Stillness is not inaction. It is controlled action. It is waiting 1 second longer than fear wants you to. It is striking 1 second after anger screams for blood. It is breathing where others choke. When the world collapses into noise, the rarest thing becomes silence, internal silence, the mind that does not chase every threat, the mind that does not chase every insult, the mind that stands still even when the ground shakes. Walker's movements through the nightclub show this. Surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned, yet he acts as if time bends around him. A breath, a glance, a precise motion, not because he controls the environment, because he controls himself. Stillness is not passivity. It is dominance over the only thing you were ever meant to master, your own mind. Most people are puppets of the moment. An insult jerks their strings. A threat yanks them into panic. A betrayal shatters their focus. Walker's character in Havoc demonstrates the opposite. A man who lets external storms rage without letting them touch the center. In one scene, fists fly from every direction, tables crash, shots fire. Walker doesn't flail, he pivots, he adapts. One cut across the shoulder, one cracked rib, one bloodied lip. None of it matters. The body reacts, the mind remains. Stoic philosophy teaches that it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about events. Walker shows through pure action what that looks like when the stakes are mortal. The nightclub could have been a tomb. Instead, it becomes a proving ground. A man who cannot be ruled by external chaos cannot be broken by it. Stillness sharpens vision. Stillness conserves energy. Stillness chooses battles instead of fighting them all. Without stillness, you exhaust yourself fighting shadows. Without stillness, you waste your strength on noise that was never the real enemy. Walker moves only when movement is necessary. He hits only when precision demands it. He endures everything else in silence. This restraint, brutal and quiet, speaks louder than any battle cry. Stillness is a weapon the chaotic cannot understand. It infuriates them. It confuses them. They expect rage and find calm. They expect flinching and find focus. And focus dismantles. Frenzy, one calm action at a time. The Stoics wrote of the sage, the ideal figure who walks through chaos untouched inside, not because he denies reality, because he refuses to be enslaved by it. Walker's path through the blood-soaked corridors of Havoc traces that image. Not a man without fear, a man who refuses fear the right to rule. Not a man without pain, a man who refuses pain the right to distract. Not a man without enemies, a man who refuses enemies the right to dictate his character. Stillness is not natural. The natural response to violence is violence. The natural response to chaos is panic. The natural response to threat is blind rage. Stillness is supernatural, something chosen, forged, suffered into existence. It costs more than rage. It hurts more than panic. It demands more than instinct. Stillness demands choice. Again and again, in the face of every scream and blow and betrayal. You do not achieve stillness. You practice it in every breath when the world tries to tear it from you. Walker's silent defiance inside the nightclub is not just survival, it is victory over the one enemy that matters. Internal collapse. Others lose themselves in the noise. He finds himself in it. Others break into pieces. He condenses into steel. Stillness is not lack of action. It is right action, at the right time, for the right reason, free from the slavery of panic. Stoic thought reminds us, a man who can remain still while the world burns is already free. Walker does not conquer the city. He does not fix the corruption. He does not erase betrayal. He survives without losing the only thing that mattered, himself. The nightclub collapses around him. Bodies fall. Walls tremble. Sirens scream. He breathes. He moves. Not frantically, not reactively, but with cold clarity. The true victory is not making the world stop screaming. It is learning to hear the scream without letting it unmake you. Stillness is the unshakable center. Stillness is the last fortress when all other walls fall. The noise demands you shatter. Stillness answers no. The rage demands you lose yourself. Stillness answers no. The chaos demands you become chaos. Stillness answers no. In the end, stillness wins. It does not need applause. It does not need reward. It does not even need survival. It needs only itself. Noise outside is nothing if there's silence inside. 4. The choice. In Havoc, survival is not the hardest task. Staying clean in a dirty war is. Walker reaches a crossroads. No man escapes. When vengeance is offered, do you take it? When betrayal bleeds from every hand you once trusted, do you strike back? It would be easy. It would be justified. It would be human. But Walker's character in Havoc embodies a Stoic lesson. True strength is not in striking harder, it's in choosing not to strike for the wrong reasons. Facing Vincent, a fellow officer who orchestrated deaths for personal gain, Walker has the opportunity to destroy him. Not just physically, morally, publicly, completely. Every nerve must scream for retribution. Every muscle must beg for punishment. Still, he pauses. Still, he chooses. The Stoics taught that external events are beyond your control, but your response is always yours. Anger does not have to own you. Vengeance does not have to define you. Walker shows this not by being unfeeling, but by being disciplined. He could unleash hell. He could avenge the dead, the betrayed, the innocent. He does not because he lacks power, because he refuses to be ruled by rage. This is the ultimate rebellion. Anyone can react. Few can choose. The philosophy of Stoicism does not deny emotion, it demands that you master it. Walker's confrontation with Vincent shows the reality of that mastery. Pain without surrender, rage without collapse, power without corruption. There is a moment when Walker has Vincent cornered, bloodied, broken, defenseless. The easy path would be violence. The popular path would be revenge. He chooses neither. He chooses justice over vengeance, action over reaction, discipline over indulgence. In a world that teaches you to meet betrayal with fury, meeting it with clarity is revolutionary. Walker's choice is not soft. It is the hardest thing any man can do. To know you could destroy and still restrain. To know you could end the pain with a blow and still refuse. To know you could satisfy every primal scream inside you and still walk away. Vengeance offers immediate pleasure. Justice demands enduring pain. The Stoic mind accepts the cost. Walker does not leave because it feels good. He leaves because it is right. He reclaims authority over himself and lets the chaos destroy itself without his help. The moment of choice reveals who you truly are. Not when things are clean, not when enemies wear clear faces, when betrayal drips from familiar hands, when the easy path glitters in your broken vision, when every wound begs for payback. That is when you either collapse into reaction or rise into choice. Walker's restraint is not weakness, it is sovereignty. He stands over the man who tried to kill him, the man who murdered others, the man who betrayed everything, and he chooses not to become him. In Stoic teaching, you are harmed more by your own response than by any external injury. Your soul is untouched unless you abandon it yourself. Walker's soul remains intact. The city will rot. Corrupt men will thrive for a moment longer. Justice may be slow, but Walker's integrity is immediate. He does not give Vincent the satisfaction of dragging him down. He does not gift the corrupt the proof they seek, that even the good can be made evil by enough pain. Walker refuses to be converted. In a world that celebrates revenge as justice, choosing real justice feels like defeat. It feels weak. It feels naive. It is not. It is the only kind of victory that lasts. The man who answers betrayal with betrayal multiplies the rot. The man who answers betrayal with reason breaks the cycle. Still, the price is high. Walker carries the weight of what he could have done and did not. He carries the burden of mercy in a world that deserves none. That is the true cost of choice. Loneliness. When you choose principle over passion, few will understand. When you choose discipline over indulgence, fewer will admire you. When you choose justice over vengeance, almost none will thank you. Walker acts anyway, because the Stoic understands you do not act rightly for applause. You act rightly because it is the only thing left to you. The city collapses, the systems betray, the enemies multiply. Still, the choice remains. It always remains. No one can take it, not with violence, not with threats, not even with betrayal. Walker shows through his restraint a brutal Stoic truth. The world can kill your body, it can scar your name, it can strip you of power, it cannot make you unjust unless you let it. The choice is the last battlefield, the choice is the last kingdom. To master yourself is to be unconquerable. When Walker walks away from Vincent, bleeding, exhausted, hollow, he is more victorious than if he had crushed him, because he won the only war that matters. The war against becoming what you hate. The war against letting pain reshape your soul. The war against reacting blindly, instinctively, destructively. Walker walks through hell and refuses to become part of it. This is the mark of a free man, the one who chooses, not once, not when convenient, but especially when it costs everything. Especially when no one will see it, especially when no one will care, especially when revenge would feel so good it aches, especially then. To choose discipline, to be provoked, is to lose. 5. The weight. In Havoc, Walker doesn't carry just his own survival, he carries others. Charlie, Mia, their lives, their failures, their consequences. They are not clean, they are not innocent, they are not light. Still, he carries them. Tom Hardy's character in Havoc reflects the Stoic truth that you don't get to choose the weight. You only get to choose how you carry it. The world breaks easily under burden, the weak shift it onto others. The cowards pretend it's not theirs. Walker doesn't. He shoulders the wreckage, fully. Not because it benefits him, not because he was asked nicely, because it is there, and because he is capable. This is the raw edge of Stoicism. You are responsible for what you can hold, even if you didn't create the mess. Walker could walk away. Let Charlie rot. Let Mia drown in the consequences of her father's sins. He doesn't. He chooses the burden. There's a scene where Walker fights his way through a collapsing apartment block, wounded and hunted, dragging Charlie behind him. Charlie slows him down. Charlie weakens his chance of escape. Still, Walker pulls him forward. The modern mind would scream, "Not your problem, not your fault, not your fight." The Stoic mind whispers, "If you can carry it, you must." Life does not hand you burdens neatly. It drops them, bleeding, screaming, complicated. The easy path is to look away. The righteous path is to bend the knee, lift the weight and move. Walker shows this through action. No speeches, no self-praise, no martyrdom. Just one step forward, dragging the broken behind him. This is the hidden cost of being strong. You carry more than your share, and no one thanks you for it. True strength is invisible. It shows up at 2 a.m. when no one is watching. It shows up when the easy thing would be to let go. It shows up when the weight is unfair, and you lift anyway. Walker's bruised body, staggering through dark alleys with Charlie barely conscious behind him, is a brutal metaphor. Carrying others will slow you. Carrying others will bleed you. Carrying others will cost you victories you could have won alone. Carry them anyway. The Stoics taught that being born capable is not an advantage to be exploited. It's a duty to be fulfilled. Your strength belongs to more than you. Walker does not rescue because it is convenient. He rescues because it is necessary. He does not save because it will be rewarded. He saves because it is right. There is no guarantee Charlie will even survive. No guarantee Mia will change. No guarantee justice will prevail. Still, he carries. Still, he moves. The weight does not shrink. The ground does not soften. Still to forward. Every grunt of pain Walker releases is another echo of a stoic reality. The burden does not negotiate. The burden does not apologize. The burden does not adjust itself to your comfort. You adjust yourself to the burden. You strengthen yourself to carry what needs carrying, even when no one sees, even when no one cares, even when no one thanks you. Especially then. In Havoc, the system is broken. The rules are corrupted. The people Walker saves are complicit in their own destruction, and yet he lifts them. He does not require purity to serve. He does not demand gratitude to act. He carries because he chooses to carry. This is the Stoic ideal at its rawest. You serve not because it feels good. You serve because you can. You lift not because the burden is beautiful. You lift because you were made to lift. Strength is not given to decorate your pride. It is given to protect what cannot protect itself. In a city that sells out at the first sign of difficulty, Walker's silent suffering stands like an iron pillar. No cheering crowds, no medals, no clean endings. Just the hard, silent dignity of carrying what others abandon. There is a point when Walker could have dropped Charlie, sacrificed him to save himself. No one would have blamed him. He doesn't. He bends lower. He grips tighter. He crawls through filth, dragging another life behind him. You do not get to choose the weight, only the way you bear it. You do not get to demand fairness from burden, only fairness from yourself. Walker's battered body, bloodied. Hands and hollow eyes say more than any speech. This world does not reward the carrier. It forgets him. It discards him. It replaces him. Still carry, still endure. Still lift those who cannot lift themselves. The true mark of power is silent suffering in service to others. The Stoics knew it is easy to boast strength when strength is not needed. It is another thing entirely to bear the unbearable without a witness, without applause, without rescue. You carry, you bleed, you stagger, and you carry still. Walker's journey through Havoc is not a hero's triumph. It's a laborer's endurance. It's the quiet victory of refusing to betray your duty, even when the duty is unfair, the reward non-existent, and the pain endless. The burden is heavy, the road is cruel, the ending is unclear. Still, the next step, still, the next breath. Still, the burden on your back, and no excuses on your lips. No man burdens you, you carry only what you allow. 6. The isolation. Strength is loud when crowds cheer. Strength is silent when no one is left. In Havoc, Walker reaches a place every man must face. Absolute isolation, no backup, no allies, no promises of survival. Just one man, one mission, and a world that has already decided he should not get out alive. At a remote cabin, surrounded, bleeding, hunted, Walker embodies the Stoic truth. True power is revealed not when you are supported, but when you are utterly alone, no eyes to witness, no applause to chase, no safety net to fall into, only you. The city's corruption strips him of everything external. Badge, rank, trust. Isolation is the final purification. Tom Hardy's character in Havoc shows that isolation isn't punishment, it's exposure. It shows what you are when no one else props you up. Most people Wear masks to survive society. Walker stands bare, no one to impress, no one to blame, no one to save him, just the raw confrontation. Are you enough without the world's permission? Stoic philosophy holds that the true fortress is within, not a group, not a government, not a lover, your mind, and your mind alone. In isolation, the lies fall away. The lie that you are strong because others say so. The lie that you are good because others reward you. The lie that you are worthy because others love you. Walker, cornered in that final stand, answers the only question that matters. Who am I when I have nothing left but myself? There is no cavalry coming, no miraculous rescue, no second wind. There is only breath and will. He does not collapse into self-pity. He does not rage against the injustice. He does not beg the universe for mercy. He accepts the terms. He accepts the silence, and he fights anyway, not because victory is promised, not because survival is guaranteed, because action is still his to command. The world can take your comforts, it can steal your status, it can rip away your connections, but it cannot move your will unless you hand it over. Isolation tests this claim. Isolation strips you of the illusion that you are strong because you are surrounded. Strength built on crowds collapses when the crowd leaves. Strength built on principle stands even when standing costs everything. Walker, battered, betrayed, alone, still moves with clarity. Each decision, each blow, each breath comes from a place that needs no external validation. This is the heart of Stoicism. You are sufficient, you are complete, you are already equipped. Nothing external can add to or subtract from what you are, unless you let it. Walker's last stand is not about heroism. It's about fidelity to the self. In a collapsing world, he remains intact. Isolation is a mirror. It reflects either a man crumbling under abandonment or a man revealed in purity. The weak mind says, I am nothing without others. The disciplined mind says, I was never anything but myself. In Havoc, Walker's endurance in solitude shows that isolation doesn't create weakness. It reveals where weakness already lived. Facing death, he doesn't whimper. Facing betrayal, he doesn't curse. Facing the final deafening silence, he doesn't break, he acts. Silence is not emptiness for the Stoic. It is clarity, the absence of noise, the absence of flattery, the absence of distractions. Only the essential remains. At the cabin, Walker sheds every last illusion. No one is coming, no one owes you anything, no one will remember. Still act rightly, still fight cleanly, still die with your soul uncorrupted. If need be, this is the unspoken Stoic law. Virtue does not depend on outcome. It depends only on your own choices. You don't fight because you will win. You fight because it is right to fight. You don't endure because you expect reward. You endure because quitting would mean surrendering your soul. Walker's every wound, every scar, every breath at the edge of death screams this principle. You have no guarantee of success, only the guarantee of your own action. Isolation strips away the noise of hope, the noise of validation, the noise of ego. All that remains is the stripped, bloodied core. Choice. Choice without witnesses. Choice without applause. Choice without certainty. Walker shows that survival, in the Stoic sense, is not merely breathing. It is choosing rightly when all reasons to choose have rotted away. In isolation, no one will see your virtue. No one will write songs about it. No one will reward you. You must be willing to be righteous in the dark, unseen, uncelebrated. You must be willing to fight without hope, endure without rescue, and die without recognition. Because the act itself, not the reward, defines the man. Walker at the cabin embodies this to the end, battered, outnumbered, bleeding from old wounds, carrying new ones. Still, no compromise. Still, no surrender. Still, a man, even when the world erases everything else. In Stoic thought, isolation is not tragedy. It is an invitation to be whole without need, to be powerful without followers, to be enough without proof. Walker's battle in isolation is not just against enemies. It is against despair, against resignation, against the sweet lie that it would be easier to give in. He fights not for victory, he fights for fidelity. In the end, isolation proves nothing to others. It proves everything to you. If you can remain intact when stripped of all that is external, you have won the only victory that matters. If you can move cleanly when no one commands, you have achieved the only command worth having, command of the self. True strength is invisible. 7. The aftermath. Victory is rarely what you imagine. It's rarely clean. It's rarely celebrated. In Havoc, Walker survives. But survival is not a parade. It is a quiet, broken thing. He rescues Charlie. He exposes corruption. He tears down pieces of a system that should have protected instead of prayed. But when the smoke clears, there is no applause, no banners, no heroes welcome, just the wreckage, just the silence. Tom Hardy's character in Havoc reveals a hard Stoic lesson. Survival is not triumph over the world. It is triumph over yourself. Walker doesn't walk out victorious. He walks out intact, battered, scarred, changed, but intact. The world he fought through doesn't magically repair itself. The corrupt don't all face justice. The innocent don't all heal. The broken city remains broken. Still, he moves forward. Still, he carries the invisible crown. Fidelity to himself. Stoicism teaches external outcomes are not within your control. Only your own choices, your own character, your own response. Walker's aftermath embodies this truth. He doesn't control the city. He doesn't control the survivors. He doesn't control the future. He controls only one thing. He did not become what the world demanded he become. In one of the final scenes, Walker lets Ellie, the young, honest officer, walk away. He does not silence her. He does not manipulate her. He does not seek to erase the evidence of what he had to do. He accepts it, all of it, the consequences, the judgment, the uncertainty, because a Stoic does not bargain. With truth, he does not need the world to view him rightly. He needs only to know he acted rightly. Walker's final steps show the weight of real endurance. No medals, no absolution, no guarantee. Only the quiet certainty. I did not betray myself. In the aftermath of chaos, many seek to rewrite their own stories, to paint themselves as saviors, to cling to scraps of validation. Walker seeks nothing. He carries his silence like armor. There is no need to explain, no need to justify, no need to decorate the ruin. The Stoics held that virtue is its own reward and its own punishment. You do not act rightly because it is profitable. You act rightly because anything less would disgust you. Walker's battered figure moving through the broken city shows this cold reality. Right action is lonely. Right Action is heavy. Right action often looks like defeat to those who worship success, but it is the only freedom that matters. When you endure chaos without losing yourself, you have already won. Even if the world calls you lost, even if history forgets you, even if no one ever knows, Walker's survival is not the survival of the body alone. It is the survival of the core. The man who began with fractured. Loyalty ends with iron certainty. This is who I am. No badge, no system, no crowd, just the raw, unbroken will. In the aftermath, most seek comfort. Walker seeks none. He accepts pain, he accepts misunderstanding, he accepts solitude, because peace cannot be bought with lies. Peace comes from refusing to betray yourself no matter what it costs. The world measures success by trophies. Stoicism measures success by integrity. By that measure, Walker leaves victorious, even if he limps, even if he bleeds, even if he walks into an uncertain, hostile world. He walks free. The aftermath is not a return to innocence. There is no innocence left. It is a movement into wisdom, into strength, into the brutal clarity that the only prize worth earning is the ability to look into the mirror and not flinch. Walker's journey through Havoc shows that the final fight is not against enemies. It is against despair. It is against the temptation to say, it didn't matter. I was a fool. I should have broken first. He does not say it. He does not regret. He does not bend. The ruins behind him do not erase the integrity within him. The Stoics warned, if you pin your happiness to results, you will be a slave to fortune. If you pin it to your own action, you will be untouchable. Walker is untouchable, not because he cannot be hurt, but because he cannot be corrupted. He leaves no promises behind, no debts unpaid, no guilt unacknowledged, only the silent, heavy knowledge that he endured, without surrendering his soul, and that is everything. In a world obsessed with outcomes, the true victory is internal, invisible, undeniable. Walk through the fire, walk through the collapse, walk through the betrayal, and if you can walk out the other side without hating, without breaking, without losing the man you chose to be, you have won, even if no one claps, even if no one cares, even if no one knows. Especially then, you win when you remain yourself. Walker walks through ruins, not triumphant, but whole. In Havoc, Tom Hardy's character shows a stoic lesson. The ultimate victory is not conquering the world, it's refusing to let the world conquer you. Systems collapse, friends betray, bodies fail. The city burns down to its bones, and all that's left is what was always there, your core, the badges, the titles, the safety nets, illusions, stripped away by chaos. What remains when you are stripped of everything you leaned on? If you have built your soul on discipline, on choice, on silence, you survive. If not, you vanish. Walker's battered figure moving forward, unbroken by betrayal, shows this brutal truth. Life will not protect you. The world will not apologize. Victory is not found outside. Victory is standing where others fall, breathing where others collapse, choosing honor where others choose rage. You are not owed survival. You are not owed understanding. You are owed only the dignity of your own choices, nothing more. And that is enough when you walk through chaos, unchanged at the core. You have already won. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius.